And several residents are suing Nueces County now for voting rights violations. The lawsuit filed last week alleges that at the beginning of the year, County Clerk Kara Sands mailed incorrect vote-by-mail instructions to around 1,500 people. Some of that information included ID requirements that aren't actually required by law. And the plaintiff's attorney, David Bright, says the letter discouraged and confused voters, making them question the legitimacy of local elections. And once someone brought it to the attention of Sands, she sent out a letter acknowledging the mistake, which then seemed to lead to further confusion.
Clients that were saying, well, does that mean that my vote doesn't count? Does that mean I'm supposed to show up and vote? If I show up and vote, am I given a provisional ballot? I mean, they just didn't know. It's once you deviate from the requirements of these elections, it becomes confusing to people.
Now, the 6 defendants are requesting more than $100,000. The lawsuit also mentions discrepancies in previous elections, including in 2016, alleging early votes weren't being counted until someone brought it to the county's attention. Now, if you suspect irregularities at the polls and you would like to file a complaint, you can do so through the Texas Secretary of State's office. You will need to fill out a form just like this here and make sure to include details about what you suspect may be the violation at hand. So you will then mail it to the Secretary of State's offices in Austin. For more information, you can call 1-800-252-8683, and we'll have all of this information on our website for you.